rise and losers fall. Reflexes sharp, minds enthrall. Gamers play, this never ends. SSL, where legends play. SSL, we fight tonight. Battles in the storyline. From the shadows to the dream, we are the SOOP StarCraft League. We are the SOOP StarCraft League.
I want to live every moment I can give. In the now I will thrive. I want to
통신을 내 방식대로 KB 리브
Hello and welcome to the final group of the round of 24 here at the 2024 SOOP StarLeague Autumn Season, done in partnership with KB Live Mobile. Through yesterday's matches, Light and Jaedong emerged victorious to advance to the round of 16 side by side. We only have 2 tickets to the next round left and 4 players. Who will end up moving on to the round of 16? Well, let's talk to our 4 players ahead of Group F and find out. Hi guys.
네, 먼저 1티어 테란 정영진
First up,
선수와
let's have a
이야기
word with our
나눠보겠습니다.
T1 Terran player JYJ.
벌써
Hi.
12시즌 연속으로 또 본선에 이렇게
This is your 12th time in a row making it into the tournament proper now. How are you feeling ahead of this brand new SSL?
일단 새로운 대회로 시작되는 만큼
Seeing how this is a new start to the tournament,
노력 많이 했습니다.
I did my best to make sure I perform well.
시즌 15의 우승자이십니다.
JYJ, you were the champion back in season 15, but since then, things haven't been looking as great for you. It feels to me a rebound might be required.
그래서 약간 뭐 많이 바꾸려고.
And because of that, I'm trying to change.
오,
I'm not even wearing a
그러네요.
mask.
약간
Oh, that's
많이
true.
바꾸려고 노력.
Yeah, I prepared with
본인의
change in
루틴을
mind.
조금 바꾸면서 경기를
JYJ, you're trying to mix up your
준비를
routine
하고
and have
계신 것
prepared with a
같은데요.
refreshed
이번에는
mindset for
윤영태
your
선수한테
matches.
인사 나눠볼까요?
Let's now say hi to Free.
안녕하세요. 2일차 예선을
Free,
통해서는
you made it
끝나고
through day 2 of the qualifiers and afterwards posted on your stream saying, I very nearly lost.
그때 좀
Things were
어떤
difficult.
느낌이셨나요?
What was going through your mind at the time?
그냥 사실 제가 마지막 게임은
To be frank, in the last match, I actually considered typing GG, but if I had lost that, I would have been out of the qualifiers. So I tried my hardest and qualified.
이번에 좀 감회가 새롭고
I'm filled with new emotions and I prepared with diligence.
24강 경기를 앞두고 있는 윤영태 선수.
It's a fresh start for Free, getting ready for his match. It's been 3 years already since you've made the round of 16. I don't think you can delay your return to that round of 16 stage any further.
저는 항상 나올 때마다 마지막이라고 생각하고
Every time
나오는데
I play, I always think it's my last time, like it's the end,
아니죠,
but
열심히 하겠습니다.
no, scratch that. I'll play my best.
16강 진출을 위해서 많은 것들을 준비해 오셨다고
Many
해서
people
경기가
have
굉장히
come eyeing that
기대됩니다.
round of 16 today. I really can't wait to see those games.
그렇게 하다 보니까 오늘
Well, in any
같은
case,
대학
2
소속이
people are from the same
분명식이더라고요.
StarCraft
그래서
University as me, so
상대편
one
그냥
of them
한 명은
will have to go
떨어야겠다.
home.
네네.
같은 편을 떨굴 수는 없죠.
I don't care, they're on the same team.
그래서 네, 열심히 준비해왔습니다.
I prepared as best I
개인
could.
커리어 이외에도 굉장히 중요한 것들이 걸려 있는 오늘
Looks like
경기인 것
not just
같은데요.
Free's
박성균
personal
선수와도
career is
대화
on the line
나눠보겠습니다.
today.
안녕하세요.
Let's now talk to Mind.
예선 당시에
Mind,
1일차에서는
after the first day of qualifiers, you said,
휴.
After the second day,
상반된 한숨을
phew,
남겨주셨던
on your blog.
박성균 선수입니다.
What did the qualifiers
예선은
feel like?
어떤 소감이셨나요?
예선 그때 이제
Well,
1일차에 그때 병구형
On the first day of
만나가지고
qualifiers, I ran into Stork
아쉽게 떨어졌거든요. 그래서
and unfortunately ended up losing.
이번에도 이제 또 만나게 돼서
If we do end up playing
쉽지
today, it
않을 것
won't be
같은데
easy.
잘 해봐야 될 것 같아요.
I'll just have to do my
일단
best.
예선에서 박성균 선수의 마음을 철렁하게 만들었던
So in this
송병구
group F,
선수가
we
또
have 2
있고,
Terran and 2
두 명의 테란,
Protoss
두
players,
명의
including
토스가 있는
Stork,
오늘의
who already
표정이거든요.
gave you
조에 대한
trouble in the
박성균
qualifiers.
선수의 분석은
How would you
어떻게
break this
이루어졌는지
group down?
궁금합니다.
I wonder.
조 자체는 뭐 제 입장에서 좀 까다로운 조.
From my perspective,
쉽지
it's a
않은 것
demanding
같은데,
group.
근데 뭐 항상
It won't be easy, but you know, that's what tournament play
쉽다고 느낀
is.
적은 없는 것 같아요.
It's
그래서
never easy.
그냥 뭐 일상적인 것 같고.
It's par for the
제가
course.
잘 해야지만 올라갈 수
As
있을
long
것
as I
같아요.
do well, I should
까다로운
advance.
조이니만큼 박성균 선수가 더 강한 독을 품고
A
오지
demanding
않았을까
group for Mind. I wonder if he's brought some special strong poison this time.
네, 안녕하세요.
Let's say hi to
네,
Stork.
시즌 연속으로 또
Stork,
24강
you've made the round of
진출을
24
이뤄내고
for
있는
4
선수입니다.
seasons
이번
in a row
시즌도
now.
어떤 느낌이
I'm
어떤
curious
느낌으로
as to what you're looking for this
궁금하네요.
season.
네, 그 24강에서 계속 떨어지고
I know I keep getting knocked out in the round of 24, but this season I personally consider my online form to be the best it's been. Whenever I come down here to the studio, either my hands don't work properly or the games just don't go well.
오늘은 제발 집에서 하는
It would
것처럼
be great
됐으면
if
좋겠어요.
today I could play as well as I do at home. As you've just said, your most recent round of 24 results, you've unfortunately been getting knocked out by a hair's breadth in the elimination match time and time again. You have suffered a loss at the hands of JYJ too, and so it makes me think that perhaps making the round of 16 this time would be a tall order for you.
탈락을 연속으로 하고 있는데 그 시작이
My
아마
round of 24 elimination streak seems to have started with JYJ.
우승을
Oh,
했었던 걸로
right.
기억나는데
And he went on to take that championship. You're right, it was that
오늘 좀
season.
잘 끊어가지고
So I'd maybe like
우리가
to
누가
break
됐든
that
꼭
streak
16강
and
올라가고
advance to the
싶어요.
round of 16, regardless of who my opponents will be. Some interesting storylines coming in Group F. Let's see what other plot lines we have. Now, this Group F has been branded the Group of Death, as the number of times these players have made it into the tournament proper is staggering. If we add it all up, it comes to a total of 46 appearances. Even Tier 4 player 3 has qualified 9 times. So we have really prominent figures here today, and many people are finding it difficult to make predictions. 3. If there is one player you don't want to meet today, who would that be?
근데 사실 다 싫어하는 애들이라서
To be honest, I hate them all. I can't pick just one. So the one you would hate meeting the most.
그 병구랑 제가 또 친하기도 하고
I've got
서로
close with
같이
Stork recently, and
붙었을 때 지는 걸 진짜 싫어하거든요.
we would
서로
both
지면
hate
찐텐 나올
losing
것
to one
같아서.
another. That would create some real
안
tension.
만났으면 좋겠어요.
Oh, because you're good friends? Yeah, it would be good if we didn't meet. Free chose Stork as the player who would hate losing to. What do you think, Stork?
뭐 친해서 그런 거보다
More so than because we are close friends with Free, it's that it's a mirror matchup. If we meet in the losers match, then yeah, I would hate that. But if it's the winners match, then I don't care. But personally speaking, I would hate playing JYJ more. It would be tougher. Stork would like to get back at JYJ, but doesn't want to meet him today if it can be helped. Now in Group F, we have 2 Terran players who have made it into the finals before, Mind and JYJ. After that grand final in Season 15, you guys have not played each other in a tournament. If you were to meet in a best of 1 today, it would surely feel different than that final. What do you think, Mind?
일단 앞에 맵들이 이렇게
Well, let's start with the fact that the maps are not easy for TVP. So I would actually like to play JYJ instead.
1경기가 문제네요.
It's all about that first match. The first match will be the most demanding for Mind. JYJ, if a best of 1 rematch against Mind is on the cards today, do you think it'll go the same way the grand final went? Would you feel comfortable?
제가 복수를 많이 해본 입장으로서
As someone who has gained revenge on players before, a thirst for revenge is something to be afraid of, so I think avoiding Mind would be best. There are so many players today who want to give you a taste of your own medicine, JYJ. You almost seem intimidated. We'll see what the games are like. Now, to close things out, let's ask the players about the resolutions. Mind, this season, once again, I'll pierce through the round of 24 and advance to the round of 16. Good, JYJ.
시즌 1으로 개막을
This is a fresh season,
꼭 다시 한번 우승 노려보도록 하겠습니다.
and I'll try to get a championship run again. Looking forward to it.
일단
3.
제가 이번 24강 올라왔을 때 목표가
When I made it into the round of 24, my goal was to get to the group selection. I'll first try to make the round of 16. I'll play well. Good. Stork,
열심히 준비한 만큼 좋은 경기력으로
I prepared well and will advance to the round of 16 with a good showing. Can't wait. Looking forward to good games from the 4 players of our final round of 24 group. Thanks for the interview. With just 2 round of 16 tickets left here ahead of Group F, let's kick things off and see which 2 of our players manage to stay afloat.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the final day here in the round of 24 of the SSL, formerly known as the ASL. Could be a lot of TVPs, Tastosis.
Yeah, hopefully a lot of TVPs. Can't wait to see how this goes down. And my camera button isn't working. There we go. Okay. we stayed
back?
Korean
All right.
casters there for a little bit. I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, this group is going to be a lot of fun, no doubt about that. But kind of the big story of this SSL season so far is the lack of Zergs. Only Jaedong making it through to the round of 16 to join the 2 seeds in Hero and Sulky.
It's been a very Terran-heavy season so far. I expect this to balance out as we get a little bit deeper. Usually the round of 8 gives us about as even of a distribution as as is mathematically possible. But yeah, not a lot of Zergs this season, and a lot of Terrans present here.
Yeah, that's true. But I bet you by the time we get to the top of the 4, Sulky and Hero will still be there because it seems like they just always are at this point. Like you can't stop these two. They're so strong. But yeah, we've had quite a few upsets at this point as well. Like the Queen falling out was pretty rough. I couldn't believe, watching C advance. That was insane with speed. What a wild ride this has been in the round of 24 so far.
Yeah, action biting the dust is a huge shocker, so crazy against Best getting wiped out too. I guess that was all in just Group D now that we look back at it. But we've got Light advancing along with Jaedong, Bisu, and Mini holding the Protoss fort down. We'll see if we get more Protosses with this group. I do feel like it's a pretty strong group for the Terrans that we have here.
They're definitely the strongest 2 players here, but don't underestimate Free and Stork. I like these guys quite a bit. I think that Stork's Protoss vs. Terran is questionable. He definitely has a weird way that he likes to play it sometimes. Free is he's pretty solid at it. He's pretty darn good at PvT, but I never feel like it's really his best matchup. I don't feel like he's a PvT specialist. Sometimes people point out he technically has a higher win rate PvT than let's say PvZ, but I've always been more impressed with his other matchups, honestly.
I've always thought his PvZ looked better.
Yeah.
I think PvT, we see a lot of fails. PvT is a funny matchup because there are ways that you can completely let the game blow up in your face. If you engage and you don't appreciate, there might be a whole other screen of siege tanks there. Or you don't manage to get your recall off or something like that. The matchup can backfire pretty badly. We'll see if Free is playing a little bit better here today. Both Stork and Free do seem to be very not modern in their play. Stork specifically seems to rely... I don't know if it's going to happen here, but I have to say this. This guy goes for carrier rushes more than anybody by so much, it's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll still end up doing that here. I feel like the metagame for that has pretty much left. Just the fact that people are opening up. The 5-fact is not as popular as it was, but there's a lot more aggressive openers. And I feel like those very fast carrier rushes are not as good against these.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we're taking a look here at JYJ. This guy has been just a great player, looking extremely strong. I didn't expect this guy to do as well as he had done in previous seasons, Tastosis, so I was kind of following your lead on this. But, this guy's a really tough opponent here. He very well may get out first.
Yeah, this guy is I don't know what to call him. It's something like... I almost want to say Light reimagined, a younger, newer, fresher version of that, where it's this guy has unbelievable mechanics and has just been getting better and better. I remember when I was ranking him 6th best Terran in the world, then 5th, and then 4th, and then 3rd, and it's he's really great, and he's in fantastic shape. That championship, I don't think was a flaw or a fluke, and I think he's going to be a lot for Free to handle here.
Yeah, I want to see what Free does this time around. Free has not necessarily been cheesy, even though, I think when we have a player that's obviously weaker, it's not surprising to see cheese. There's a lot of cheese available. The Protoss have to take on a Terran, or at least to play a game that's not going to be your conventional, we're both going to expand in macro. But it seems like Free is not very inclined to do that. He very much is a macro toss. So, I'm curious, how exactly he'll play here, how well he's going to look. He doesn't seem to enjoy that more common, more modern mass shuttle style that we see a lot of here. He does seem to rely on, it's not bad, but it's an older way to play. He likes a lot of the Arbiter tech stuff. We've seen him go for 3 or 4 bases into kind of a safe carrier tech. He's not trying to rush into something and surprise them. He's trying to kind of just have enough units and make carriers behind that. But maybe he'll bring something new or something modern here. I also I might be wrong about this, but just off my memory, I don't feel like he's gone quick Nexus that many games. Nexus first, I should say.
Free? Well, yeah, I think not as often as a lot of these other Protoss. I do remember, of course, the Nexus first game he did against Flash in that season where Flash went random. That was kind of a hilarious one. But anyways, we're going to get started against Dominator. or on Dominator. Let's go into game 1.
We are magic in the air. We are love, we are care. We are here for the ride. Join the fun side by side.
Okay, we've got JYJ here in the top left. And in the center right, we have got Free. Dominator is a map that was basically a reimagined Gladiator. That was the original map name. And, you know, like we've said before, we've had a lot of great games on this map. I think it's a welcome addition. And I think, you know, PVT, it's made for some interesting openers here from the Protoss. You know, we obviously had the failed cheese that I think would have won the game for Motive. Had it done better. We've seen a lot of gas steals, or, you know, attempted gas steals, because no matter where you spawn, there's always going to be... actually, I guess it's not true if you're in the bottom left, but if you're in the top left or the center right, you can always run to the bottom left and try to steal that gas.
Yep.
So there's a 50% chance to get a gas steal. We've also had some like techniques where gateways are made on the high ground, and there's a lot of pressure play to try to bully the Terran down the ramp. We'll see if that's going to be coming this time around.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it with that pylon placement from Free. Like, that could be just a regular tech up pylon, or that could be a Nexus first pylon there. And yeah, it looks like it'll probably just be a regular tech up. I mean, if you're going to go like 1 to 2 Zealots, normally you want to put that gateway out in the front just so they get there a little bit quicker and have more potential for that damage. But not a huge surprise if he's just going to play kind of a more standard and straightforward opener. That is generally how he plays, to your point, right? Like, he doesn't actually go for things like Nexus first too often.
Yeah. I think this is probably a map where it's not a bad idea at all to try to play like this. I don't think it's necessarily easier to go Nexus first on this map compared to other maps. What I'm more concerned about with Free, just based off the previous seasons that we casted of him, is he seems to have not very clean late game. Like, particularly, he seems to have a hard time moving his army around and engaging with it. Which, you know, when you get against really good Terrans, that is probably one of the bigger challenges. You know, there's a point where the Terran army is going to head-to-head be better than yours, and so you need to try to run around and counterattack, and a lot of times you're buying time or trying to whittle them down with Storm or Reavers, or relocate them by recalling with an Arbiter or sending a bunch of shuttles into the main. But yeah, I mean, if we get into a deep game, we're going to find out just what kind of shape Free is in. But definitely that, if I was to be concerned about one thing, that would be it for him.
Yeah. I do feel like there are points in the mid game where you might see Free make a mistake. Like, I cast him a fair amount on my casting channel because he plays the ladder like a really good amount, and I am kind of a little bit of a fan of him. I do like all of the 6 dragons, right? It's just kind of the fun piece of StarCraft history, and you know, 4 of them are still active at this point, Free being 1, and I feel like he'll play like a very beautiful game, but then he'll take like one bad engagement in the mid game, and then he'll kind of fight back and then end up losing. You know, it kind of actually reminds me of Jaedong's play a little bit, where he looks really good, and then there might be this one mistake, and then these really elite Terrans can take him down.
Yeah, it's... oh, he's going to try to push this up the ramp using the SCV to block. 4 Marines is enough to beat a Zealot, but when the Dragoon gets here, the math gets a little bit fuzzier, especially if you get the Dragoon to tank the first few shots. So he's done a decent job so far. I think with this... Well, actually, is he going to get... Yeah, he does get that. Beautifully done.
Ooh! not too bad, actually, from Free there.
Yeah.
Getting the Vulture, it makes this all pretty much worth it, right? Like, the Marines and Vulture will end up winning that, like, every time if you just kind of focus fire. But if you can get rid of the first Vulture, that's really a pain in the butt for Terran. Like, they really want a Vulture out there. Now, luckily for JYJ here, he still has an SCV in the main, so he sees the tech. And so that relieves a lot of the pressure that the Vulture loss would cause otherwise.
Yeah, because you don't know if it's like a Citadel or something else. There's been, I think especially in like last year, a lot of fast expands into 2-gate DT. And just turned out to be extremely successful against good players. A lot of players weren't respecting the fact that there was a possibility of somebody going for DTs. You know, Reaver and speed shuttle play had been so common that some of these Reaver plays, or sorry, some of these DT plays are just blindside Terrans.
Yeah.
But it's definitely good he got that scout off.
Now, I need to mention that JYJ here is playing very reactive to the situation, right? So he killed a Zealot, he got a Dragoon down to 26 health, losing a Vulture and 2 Marines. So he's been producing Marines and tanks. He adds a second factory, and he saw that Robo. So, like, I think he's, a second tank, and this should be Vultures from here. So he's basically going to counterattack because Free spent those early units. This is, like, in current Terran, like, TVP theory, this is exactly what you want to do in this situation. If they throw away an early Zealot, if they take a bunch of damage on a Goon, you make a couple tanks, you make Marines, you pressure, and rally in Vultures. And if he gets up on that high ground cleanly, this could end up doing good damage.
This is exactly why you want to have this spread over here to try to engage this. All these Dragoons are here. He actually has this weaker Dragoon that's in the front, and it gets targeted down pretty easily. He plants the first few mines here. You got to be careful. They can try to charge into that with their own Dragoon. And now you got to use the Observatory and the Pylons here as kind of a blocker. And usually this is a period where the Protoss can hold this. It's hard for the Terran to get anything done. I don't know if he's upgrading Siege Mode or not, but that is something you want to watch out for as the Protoss.
Ooh, I think he thought there might be a mine under there. So I think that was a risky move to run the Dragoon for, because if there's no mine there, you just threw away one of your units. So that's pretty painful. You notice he's killing his own pylon because he needs the room to be able to pop out and get these shots. Very red Dragoon. This looks really good for JYJ. JYJ is going to, like, this, even just what he's done so far, this is a super worthwhile push, and you would be ahead.
So the Siege Mode is up. And, I mean, this is going to be tough. He's going to try to eat some of the mine shots. There's just enough bulk here. Dude, I think Free might be dead.
He might be. He might be.
Yeah, there's... Okay, no, there's a shuttle, but this is actually just where the observers were rallied, so there's nothing in that. Did look like for a split second maybe there could be something in there. But, you know, he can inch in with the tank. These Dragoons are both super low in health. They're just even a couple Vulture shots away from being killed. There's one that's got more HP over at the ramp. The shuttle's coming back here. He's going to plant these mines. Could these mines even perhaps connect into the middle here? That would basically spell the end of this game. He's going to pick up these 2 Dragoons that are over here. He could end up landing on top of the mines and drawing them in. Wow, really well placed there.
And he does unsiege super fast. Oh, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. The JYJ has done enough, man. Like, this looks like a game victory right off the bat. Yeah, this was very, very well done. Okay, he does drag the mines in, but none of this really matters that much. Like, this game is super done. He's getting so much damage with these Vultures now. He's killed so many probes. Even just killing the amount of Dragoons he did makes it really difficult for Free to mount any sort of offense or defense from here.
Yeah, I mean, this is... I don't think there's any way to recover from this. I mean, we'll see. Free might just try to play it out. Obviously, it's a best of one, and his tournament life is on the line here, but there's so many workers being killed. There's so many Vultures down here. It's going to be very tough for the Shuttle and Reaver even to pick this up. He loses another Dragoon. You can see Free kind of grimacing right now. He's going to land that, and he realizes that there's a way to make these all detonate, and he did not do it. He lost the Reaver.
Yeah, I got to say, immaculate strategy, micro, and targeting here from JYJ. He chose exactly the right thing to do and just completely dismantled here. I do want to throw this out there. If you're going to make those early units and put that pressure on, kill that first Vulture, etc., like, you have to be careful about that, right? He went Robo right away with an SCV in his base. There's much better counterplay to, you know, if you lose some units early on, you can add your second gate before your Robo. It's not against the law. So many Protoss refuse to do it, but, like, if you're losing early units, your opponent already has 2 production structures.
You know, the truth is that 2 gates is a little bit risky. You can go Robo into 3 gates total, and that'll kind of be a catch-all. But yeah, if you go 2 gate, and I mean, in this case, he made 2 observers, So he didn't even go Observer, Shuttle, Reaver. There's just a vulnerability there. If the Terran chooses to go aggressive, you don't have a whole lot of ways to fight the tanks, the Marines, even the SCVs, along with the Vultures, and of course the Spider Mines. Terran is producing out of 2 factories plus the barracks that are already made. There's just more stuff coming at you.
The thing is, if you lose, right, a Zealot and a Dragoon there, and then you immediately tech up. Well, he didn't lose the Dragoon all the way, but it was so hurt that it died very quickly thereafter. It's like this is exactly the counter you want to do as Terran in that type of situation, and he was just so unit light. If you kill that first Vulture, you can actually be out on the map with a couple Dragoons. Like, you're getting range, you can actually push over, make sure he gets a bunker. If you make sure he gets a bunker, the second factory's slower, right? There's like a lot of things. He just kind of sat back and played kind of standard there, I feel like, after he had already made like an aggressive choice. And I mean, you can see just the punish here coming out of JYJ being so strong.
Yeah, those Vultures are going to try to tiptoe in. They do get spotted. This is going to be a big distraction down here. He's going to move out now. Now, the double Reavers are going to drop, but these Goliaths are going to be able to kill that off. I mean, this could not be worse right now. Great control here by JYJ, by the way.
Yeah.
Trying to pull away the tank that has a Scarab targeting it. Because if you have the tank moving away from the Scarab, it doesn't take full damage. So now it's going to be up to just the Dragoons and the Zealots to fight this. I'm not saying that JYJ is guaranteed to win this, but he should be heavily favored.
I would be super shocked if Free can hold on against this. Like, he took so much damage. Like, the only reason he didn't leave is because this is SSL, and it's best of 1. So he's like, well...
Yeah.
You can see the look on his face. He already knows he's screwed. Like, I mean, the guy is one of the best players in the world. He's aware of his situation, but trying to make something happen. With the Reavers dead now as well, though, and JYJ is really on the ball. Like, this is... really fantastic play out of him. His control, his choices. Look at this. His third base is going to be done soon. And he's like attacking. He's got Goliath range. He's got good production going. A few supply blocks here and there, but like just moving his army amazingly as well. We're very, very close to the end here.
I agree. He's just getting close enough. It looks like Free will still be able to move units out of his base. He's going to try to run around with these Dragoons. He probably should have done this move a little bit earlier. But the idea is you want to try to intercept any other units that are going to rally into this. But as Free sees him, as JYJ sees Free leaving, he's going to actually just go right around this. He can actually just send these Vultures right in here and kill off all these workers. Perfect.
Oof. Oof.
GG.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Goes out with a whimper there. But yeah, it was so excellently controlled by JYJ. Like, I'm very, very impressed with it. I do think there was a missed opportunity after he killed the Vulture. You know, the first Vulture coming out with a Vulture expansion is really, really important for Terran because it threatens laying mines behind Dragoon pressure. So I feel like when he made more Dragoons, I feel like he could have gone up and just kind of checked what was going on a little bit more and maybe gotten a better feel. But yeah, a great play there from JYJ.
Yeah, JYJ, I mean, a very common rush. I think anybody who's been on ladder has experienced, you know, some of the various 2-factory rushes. It was well executed. I mean, this is where it started. He came in, he immediately identified the weaker Dragoon, and just losing 1 Dragoon, those extra volleys you could have had over time are huge. Mm-hmm. The scary part for the Protoss in this position is that you realize, okay, I'm now kind of stuck in my base, and if he gets siege mode up here, my Dragoons are never going to be able to get close enough to kill the tank and not be hit by mines. It's either the mine's going to kill me or the tank. Literally, the tanks are in the perfect position. They're the exact distance to where you have to, there's like a log jam that's created when the Dragoons try to go out through the pylon on the observatory.
Yeah.
And at this moment, it's just too late. It looks like the observatory is going to go down. And there's the siege mode. And when the siege mode hits, no longer are you in this kind of fight in the middle of the map. You know, it means that you're starting to lose this base. Now, he eventually recovers it. But, I mean, by then the damage had been done. And the rest of the game was pretty uneventful. Pretty easy push to close it out there from JYJ.
Yep. Well, that was showing us the level JYJ is playing on. I don't think Free played particularly poorly. That was a sharp victory. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, Mind versus Stork.
틀에 박힌 건 그만. 구석은 사양할게. 부담 없는 게 좋아. 통신을 내 방식대로. Live my life. Live M.
기가 막히게 코디를 해왔거든? 야, 거기 들어가면 왕과 왕비 볼 수 있냐? 여기 손전등이야! 바지 길지, 걔. 나와주세요. 둘 중에 골라야 된다며. 굳이 이뻐야 한다면.
이재롱 대 광민 숨막히는 경기가 계속되고 있습니다. 막아내면요, 막아내면 됩니다. 할루시네이션. I finally got your perfume out of my favorite jacket, and I still make coffee for two. It's just a force of habit. We're both inclined to pretend, but you know we can't be friends. Why act like there's something left? Trying to get my head back to thinking straight. I bet the city never looks the same. You left me here without a word to say.
What's up, everybody? We're back, and we're ready to go into another TVP. Could be TVP all day, Tastosis,
Yeah.
depending on who wins here.
Yeah, hoping so. But it could be a tough one here for Stork. I think Mind is a good match for anyone in the world in this matchup. I really respect his Terran versus Protoss play. I think he's very, very smart about how and when and where to attack. So we shall see about that. But Stork might have some good plans, man. He's a very good planner, always has been, you know?
Yeah, you know, Stork, obviously one of the most legendary players in all of StarCraft history. He is not in the condition of like a Bisu or even a Jaedong, even though his name was right up there with those players. So I'm curious to see how exactly he's going to look here today. You know, he does. Well, one of the funny things about Stork is it seems like he knows when he's also not in the right shape, and so he seems to almost try to get a workaround with it. That may be why we've seen, why we've seen so many carrier rushes. Is that really changes the playing field and the control type and everything else. He doesn't have to do that, but it does seem to be a trend that we've had.
Yeah.
I can't help but point it out, and as we keep pointing it out every season, it keeps happening, right? More prone to go for carriers than anybody else we've seen.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much right about that. I can't forget that one season where it was like he'd lose his natural and then win with the carriers on one base. It was just so silly. I don't know if we're going to see anything like that, though. I don't even think that this is a very good map for carriers, this Dominator map. So I think he's going to have to bring something else out here. But I wouldn't be surprised if he tries something mind-gamey and cheesy, just because, like, Mind is in really great shape in Terran vs. Protoss. Like, I would be very afraid of this match as Stork.
Mind was, like, the best player when you and I moved to Korea.
He was amazing.
Right? He was a
right
phenomenal.
around that time. Like, it basically, I've told this story plenty of times, so forgive me if you've heard it, but, like, there was a moment where we were trying to figure out who is the next god of Terran. Is it Flash or is it Mind? Because they were both kind of rising up so hard at that time. And then Mind had some like personal stuff happen in his life and kind of disappeared for a little bit and wasn't playing as well. And Flash, of course, became Flash. So that got settled. But I was actually on Team Mind. I think his style is so intelligent. And you saw it when he got second place in ASL. Like, the way he plays, you just see a really big brain behind the plays.
100%. He's a very cerebral player. I think he has one of the more subtle play styles. Like, he really knows how to look at everything that's happening in a game and get himself in a good spot, in a comfortable spot. Where a lot of times when I'm casting him, it's obviously stuff that you and I can't just immediately spot and pick up on. It's very nuanced, but yeah, I mean, he really knows how to thread that needle, how to make the game very comfortable. Stork is this guy is no joke, though. I mean, when he's on, he can literally beat anybody in the world. I think very good at PvT specifically still. The only question we keep asking ourselves, though, is are those carriers coming? Will we have carriers again? Let's go.
We are magic in the air. We are love, we are care. We are here for the ride. Join the fun side by side.
Okay, we've got Mind here in the center right and Stork in the top left. And short little plug here, guys. If you want to support us, please consider going to patreon.com/ASL English. Your support is appreciated. You guys mean the world to us. This game means the world to us. Yeah. Go ASL or SSL now, I guess.
Yeah. No, I want to cast this for the rest of my life. I want this tournament to go on forever. I want one day, Tasteless, for us to be so fucking old doing this, where it's like SSL, like what number would we be on? 2 a year.
Well,
by
the time we're old, we're in our 80s. They've rebranded again, like for the third or fourth time.
It's GSL this time, and like they can't even remember that they used to own a different property.
We went back to ASL instead.
Yeah, it got back there, but it means something else now.
And the company is no longer called SOOP. We changed the company name again.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this would technically be ASL Season 18. And
so 2 a year. Let's say we do it for 20 more years. So let's go up to ASL Season 60. All right.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I would love to just do this forever. It's funny. We're so deep into the history or the existence, I guess, of competitive StarCraft in Korea. I don't see why it would ever end.
Yeah.
Like, all these players would have to, like, keel over and die.
Yeah, yeah.
I literally can't think of another reason why it would end. Because clearly, at this age, they're not going to stop playing.
No.
We do have young players that are springing up, and like little clubs and kind of tournaments for new people. But yeah, I mean, these are these legendary guys that have been playing their whole life. I don't see why they would stop, which means I don't see why competitive StarCraft would ever stop.
Yeah.
This is the most watched thing that a freaking TV now branded SOOP has. So, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
What?
I got it on. He had one SCV, not mining gas, but now it's on. But yeah, okay. It's at this point, everyone's sown their wild oats in RTS and been like tried StarCraft 2 or tried some of these other games or maybe tried, League of Legends. Do we like that more or something? And yeah, everyone that's playing right now has basically figured it out. People ask me, like, are you ever going to, like, switch what game you play? It's like, guys, I'm in my 40s. Like, I've figured it out already. This is the game I want to play. Turns out I was right when I was, like, 15. I should have never questioned myself as a teenager.
StarCraft 2 is the second most watched game in Korea still. StarCraft 1, excuse me, is the second most watched game in Korea, is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
League of Legends is now, and has been for a long time, by far the biggest. But, StarCraft 1 holding strong at number 2 and was number 1 for a really long time too.
Yeah.
StarCraft 1 was number 1 for longer than I think League of Legends had been out. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot of Koreans refer to this as like a folk game. Like it's like part of the actual history of Korea. Like everybody knows it.
Yeah. It's the most important part of Korea's history, if you ask me, Tasteless.
Yeah. So in this game, we've got soon to be an expansion on both sides. It looks like Stork just threw his down. Tempo-wise, these guys are dead even. Although it's not clear right now for Protoss, what's going on? I don't believe this was scouted. The SCV is going to get inside the main, although I don't think there's any kind of definitive tech that's showing here, other than, I guess, seeing Dragoon ranges upgrading.
Yeah, everything looks pretty darn standard here. Stork hasn't made the early Zealot. He hasn't, sacrificed any actual health on his other Dragoon as well. So already this game looking completely different from the previous. And, of course, he does throw down that Robo very quickly. But, with all the, he hasn't lost anything. So we could see a similar build for Mind. Like, you can still do the build that JYJ did. But in this type of situation, it's not nearly as strong, right? It's like specifically dealing damage to the Dragoon, heavy damage to the Dragoon, and killing the Zealot are triggers for that 2 factory pressure. Here, instead, we see an upgrade going. It's probably Mines and just some Vultures being made. He's made a few Marines, right? He's got these 4 Marines to make sure he can skip the bunker, and he'll probably go second fact. Yeah, but this isn't... Like, he can put on a little pressure with this, but this is nothing like the build that we saw from JYJ. Completely different. This one is like he's pushing out, he's making sure he can lay some mines down. He's gonna like skill check and greed check here with the Marines and Vultures, because he doesn't really need them. Lay a few mines down, but oh, that's very good micro from Stork. He's already got a Vulture. Very nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty big pick. You got to be careful when you move out with those Vultures like that. If the Protoss controls well, usually they can get away. He just kind of retreats behind that pylon wall. Always worth it to have a wall with pylons up here. I remember, we've been playing for so long, but there was a period where people didn't do that. And man, sometimes did you just get wrecked by Speed Vultures.
Yeah. If Speed Vultures get in and you don't deal with them super fast, it puts you into such a terrible position. A very solid Terran will be able to follow that up with a victory quickly. Now, Mind, I believe he made a total of, I want to say 3 Vultures, but maybe it was just 2. So that's like a little bit different from how we see a lot of people do this. And yeah, he might actually put some pressure on here. He's kind of walking in a funny direction. This is to avoid the observer that he knows is coming down. Yeah. And notice how he just kind of goes a little bit off center. There's no reason the observer will go around that way. He's rallying out through that way. So the observer will come down and be like, where is everything? And he might be able to come up and catch Stork off guard.
And here's the thing, too. You might get to the front of the base with the observer and just see, well, in this case, he sees the tank and the Vulture, but you may think that everything else is in the main, ready for like a Reaver drop or something.
Yeah.
Now, the observer is going to be right-clicked on the tank, so I think the cool idea from Mind is going to be spotted.
Yeah. And the thing is, you notice that Stork just brought 4 goons out of his main. He was looking at this and saying, okay, this looks like a Vulture drop, and it does. Like, Mind was setting this up to look like that. But look at how many Dragoons Stork has at this point. You're not going to be able to do anything here. He's going to try to... Wow, I'm surprised he's trying to lay these offensive mines. This is not a good move by Mind at all.
Whoa!
Dude,
what a funny interaction.
Crushed. I'm very surprised he did that. I am like... I always talk about how Mind is really smart and everything, but this is... Stork's play is immaculate, and Mind is, like... Mind's a bit behind from that. It's not the end of the world. The game is still playable. But that was not a good usage of his units. I'm surprised. Like, when you see that many Dragoons on the high ground, just turn around. There's no point.
Yeah, I mean, it's never worth it to take a fight where it looks like the Protoss should be fine, because if the Protoss just shuts everything down, you're going to get wrecked so hard later. He can actually push in here now. Now, I think just because this is low ground to high ground, I think Terran might, well, maybe not, actually. The Vultures die so fast, the tanks have to run back. He does have siege mode, which was what I was about to ask myself, is does he have enough to actually defend this? That was a godlike eBay.
Yeah,
this game might have ended had that eBay not gotten up. By the way, this is some tricky micro. He had to make sure he didn't click on his observer there. It's funny enough, because the observer was right on top of the tank. But he gets in here, and let me tell you something. This can be fatal damage right now.
Yeah.
The SCVs are all going to fall here. He needs to siege up the tank probably on the low ground where the Dragoons can just shimmy away. But this is a lot of kills on these SCVs. I mean, Terran is really hurting, and this all goes back to the overextension with the attack. He's got, I think, a shuttle and a Reaver.
Yeah, that's a Reaver.
I assume. We never checked the tech. I don't think it's DT drop.
It is a Reaver. Yeah, dude, this is perfect play from Stork. Like, he's playing just a perfect game right now. I can't even believe
Yeah,
it.
no,
This is old Stork back. Look at this. Oh my
now,
god,
if he
missed
just
a
gets one
Dragoon
shot
hit.
on each tank, the Dragoon could probably take care of the rest. Oh my god, he somehow has both these tanks alive. Are you kidding me?
The
What?
Dragoon missed 1 in 256 shot on that tank. Flat ground, like you miss like 1 in 256 shots. He missed one
Right.
with the Dragoon. That was hilarious because that tank should be dead right now. Like, but Stork
That was
is
crazy.
Stork's 40 supply up. Like the game is very close to over right now. Stork has 3 bases. JYJ is not mining at this particular moment. He's got almost no units. He needs anti-air. He needs siege mode, right? He's got nothing going on for himself right now.
You literally can't siege right now because he could drop the Reaver out as it's sieging up and then hit it. He might even try to hit. Okay, no, never mind. He does get the siege mode up, but definitely had to watch for that tactic. And I mean, this is Stork on soon to be 4 bases. He's got an extremely healthy economy. And you know, I gotta say, it wasn't like Stork's plan was to run in his opponent with Dragoons and get in there and kill SCVs and run into the main. That's not a strategy. What happened is Mind grossly overextended, and the result is that Stork goes, okay, I'll have that, I'll take that, and just runs in and starts wreaking havoc.
Yeah. Tactically, the idea from Mind was cool. When he saw how many Dragoons were there, he should have immediately disengaged and gone home. But even the fact that he set up the tactic like that meant he wasn't back in position in time to stop the Dragoons from coming uphill so quickly. So they're like, the thing is, like, what I've watched here from Stork, this is the cleanest game I've seen from him in Remastered. And I have seen so many Stork games. This has been like perfect reactive play to the mistakes Mind has made. He is so far ahead. Look at the supply, 120 to 76. This game is not even close right now. It is not even close.
And I love this layup here. Double shuttle into the main. He's just going to kamikaze that in there. He's got 2 Reavers, he's got Zealots, and I think a Dragoon. I'm not sure what the entirety of the drop is, but I know there's at least 2 Reavers in there. And he's going to do a lot of damage to the main. He could kill off a lot of workers. And so he uses those Zealots to tank mines. And even if he gets the depot here, you see, if you shoot at that depot, it hits all 4.
Yeah.
He just needs one more round.
Dude, he is like, this game's over, man. He just killed 4 depots, all the Goliaths, tanks, turrets, vultures, 71 supply to 136. Stork has a 4th base coming up. This is like pure and utter domination. And I love Mind, man, and he is a great Terran vs. Protoss player, but he has been smoked this game. Stork is like, Stork looks like old Stork, but even honestly better. Like, if Stork plays like this all the time with these perfect reactions and perfect understanding, I'll be the sickest Protoss fan you can find. Like, this has been beautiful from him.
You know, it's funny, when I one of the first major matches I casted in Korea was him beating Flash in the finals, and I remember just watching, being like, dude, this guy's so good. Like, oh my god. Like, and then, you know, when we came back to StarCraft 1 after doing a lot of StarCraft 2 casting, and I'd watch Stork, I'd be like, oh, it's too bad. Like, you can see there's a good player there, but it's very rough around the edges. The play can be a little bit fuzzy. But right now, dude, he looks so scary. Like, he's ready to bust. He's got probably 10 Dragoons, and then the rest is Zealots and Shuttles and Reavers. He's ready for Terran to take a 3rd base so that he can go in there and end the Terran.
Yeah, yeah. And in fact, like, he might be able to just run into, into the natural. He might be able to be, like, best here and just kill him anyways. Yeah, there's nothing here for Mind whatsoever. Stork has complete control. Okay, he's going to go ahead and dive into the main base here. Looks like there's very good defense, so probably wants to pick up.
Yeah, I think he... You know, it's funny. I thought he was going to wait for, like, a moment for the Terran to kind of be overexposed somewhere, but I guess he's so confident with this, he just realizes, I can probably just kill him right now. He's going to go into the natural. This is hilarious. Did he just run in here and kill him?
Yeah, dude. Why not?
Oh, my God.
When you're this far ahead, you can really do anything you would like. It's funny, we came in here thinking, like, you know, he's relied on carriers so heavily in past ASLs and whatnot, and, you know, he's, you know, historically such a good player, but, like, I mean, with this level of play, man, you can't make a mistake. Oh my God. You can't make a mistake against him. Like, this this was so clean. That
was the best Stork game I've seen in years and years and years.
It was a perfect example of how to punish a failed attack. A perfect example. And a perfect to show next to Free the differences in how they opened up, right? Free put on that early pressure, but then still decided that he could get his robo instantly and like have no scouting intel or anything. And that's what happens. Here, Stork was like, no, we're going to play a little bit more laid back and, you know, just produce regularly and sit in a defensive arc. And, dude, amazing play. Looks great. And that means we get more TVPs, and that can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm very inspired by what I saw. So this was the attack. It didn't look that safe to us. I think if he had like a couple more vultures in the back and could maybe pin him with the mines. But it seems like there was one vulture in the back, and therefore that just gets one-shotted. He did try. This is a good tactic. What he just did with the runaround, you know you're against a really good player when you hold off their attack, and then you always have to be ready for the vulture run by because that's the next move. But look, I mean, like we were saying in the broadcast, this was never the big plan was to attack with the Dragoons, but basically mine bungled his move out, and so Stork came in here with a super solid punish. Great control, by the way. He's microing back each of the weaker Dragoons, keeping all of them alive. You know, when you have this many Dragoons, you can one-shot a tank. The eBay block here was legendary, because literally if that had not been made there, he would have come in one shot at least the first two tanks.
Yeah. And then the game gets out of control much quicker. But still, it was really well done. Like, the tactics from mine to go around the other side, they looked really intelligent. Like, it was a cool idea. But that's also why Stork was able to instantly counterattack like this. He had a quicker line to mine space than mine did. So, very excellently played. I can't wait to see Stork vs. JYJ, which is coming up next after this commercial break.
틀에 박힌 건 그만. 구속은 사양할게. 부담 없는 게 좋아. 통신을 내 방식대로. Live my life. Live M.
아 맞다. 나 내일 소개팅인데. 뭐 입지? 아 내가 옷이 이렇게 없었나? 아 이건 너무 회사가는 것 같고 이거 너무 칙칙하네. 내 퍼스널 컬러랑 안 맞네 이거. 아 입으로 잘하고 없어. 언니들 도와줘. 연기 잘하죠? 오케이 파이팅! 렛츠고! 가자 효진맘들. 렛츠 기비라. 약간 이렇게 내려서? 아 아니지 네가 섹시를 알아? 오! 이거 예쁘지 않아요? 어때? 아 걔는 왜 이렇게 가슴이 큰 거야? 하면 되겠다. 골랐습니다. 감사합니다. 근데 내가 이길 것 같아. 아니 내 건데. 일단 한번 볼까요? 기가 막히게 코디를 해왔거든? 일단 뭐야 바지는 리액션 똑바로 카메라 돌잖아. 야 거기 들어가면 왕과 왕비 볼 수 있냐? 여기 선정능이야. 왜 이렇게 바지 길지게. 나 찍은 거 중에 제일 재밌다. 나와주세요. 둘 중에 골라야 된다면. 굳이 입어야 한다면.
항상 함께 합니다. 함께 안 한 적이 없어요. 제 인생의 동반자죠. 나름 또 그런 거 있다라는 거에서 뿌듯하게 생각합니다. 그때도 조연출 님이 참 대단한 일을 하고 계시네요.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We're going to be going into this winner's match, and I got to say, I am all about Stork right now. He had an amazing game back there, looking like the old Stork from the past. But again, JYJ is in incredible shape, one of the best modern players to date. This should be a fun one.
Yeah. We're going to be going into Kickback, which actually, I'm surprised that JYJ banned Minstrel over Kickback here, just based stylistically on how Stork plays. Because Minstrel is a two-player map, so in general, two-player maps have a higher percentage Protoss win rate. But Kickback has that three-base setup right in your main, right? And I feel like that is perfect for Mr. Carrier himself. So, yeah, I don't know. Stork played so well before. I don't know what style he's going to use, but Kickback looks to me like it could be a decent map for the way that Stork historically has really liked to play.
It's going to be interesting. We already saw JYJ really more than happy to try to attack it and rush. And we'll see if he wants to do that again here with Stork. Stork holding a rush pretty easily, making it look pretty straightforward. But yeah, Kickback could be a very good map for Carrier Tastosis. You make a good point.
Yeah.
We didn't see Stork go for any kind of carrier play last game, but I don't know that we ever needed to even get to that point because Stork shut down the initial move out from mine so hard. The rest was basically history.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to go into this game now. Again, the winner of this gets one of the 2 remaining spots in the round of 16. The loser goes to the final match here in Group F. Okay, we've got JYJ in the top left, Stork in the bottom right. I'm going to mention this because I'm going to forget and end up saying it at the end of the show. But after this broadcast is done, there is 2 weeks off for matches.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no SSL for 2 weeks straight, and then it picks up after that with the round of 16. So if you're watching this and you've been having fun and you're super excited about the next phase of the tournament, don't think that it stopped happening or that we have uploaded it late or anything like that. It is simply it's Korean Thanksgiving's coming up, so there's a whole bunch of downtime.
Yeah. There will be the next week the group selection, which of course we will
Correct.
get out as quickly as possible. That one normally takes a little bit more production time, but yeah, you will be able to see that. So, all right, they're cross spawn here, which I think is excellent for Stork. Just on 4-player maps in general, cross spawn is the best situation for Protoss. Very hard for Terran to actually get in there and attack, and especially if he wants to do something like a Nexus first, but it looks like it'll be a gateway opener.
Yeah, I was like so confident this would be a Nexus right away, but he is going to go with the gateway opening.
Yeah, quick Nexus is really good on this map.
Yeah.
It's like Stork on a roller coaster there.
So I'm curious. Yeah, I guess I'm just, to be honest, I'm just a little bit surprised he didn't go for the immediate Nexus. But I guess you can also go for a quick Nexus off a gateway and gas. You can get a Nexus before your first Dragoon even starts if you want. But this map seems to lend itself so much to fast expand games that when I don't see Nexus first, I'm very much perplexed.
Yeah,
This is one of these funny moments. They both scout each other's scouting unit, and so they don't need to go into that top right main.
One thing to mention: this is a gasless expansion from JYJ, so he's actually going to be going for a quicker expansion than Stork is. I don't know what Stork's plan will be when he finds this. If he wants to try to do some sort of cheese or not. The probe comes up, and
he's not going to get in.
Yeah. Now, he doesn't see that it's gasless, and he's going to dive to confirm, but honestly, even seeing that SimCity, you pretty much know it's gasless. Like, that's how you would set up.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because otherwise you just make everything in your main. There's no point to have forward structures if you're going factory, because you just take control of the area instead of having to get it before they come in. Wow, great moving shot on that SCV. But anyways, he double confirms, so I think that's fine to spend the probe, in a tournament situation, and be like, okay, let's just make sure,
Yeah, you know, it seems like Stork is just going to expand a little bit later, so this command center is going to be halfway done when this Nexus starts. And it should be kind of a slow game from here.
Yeah.
You know, we should also mention that these expansions mine out pretty fast.
Yes, the mineral patches are 1,200 minerals instead of 1,500, and the gas are 3,000 instead of 5,000, and that goes for every single expansion on the map. Only the main bases have the normal 1.5K, 5K layout. So yeah,
and so we don't really know what that looks like. This is kind of a cool little addition to this map that it'll be interesting to see how this, if we get enough long games. We've actually had quite a few short games, but if we go into some longer, more dramatic games, the fact that the expansions dry up more quickly should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't realize that was the case with the mineral patches. I realized with the gas, whenever you see a 3-gas layout like this, it will always be reduced geysers, because I think it just gets too strong in certain matchups, like maybe PVZ and ZVT. It gets like ridiculous if they have 3 5K geysers for free. But yeah, the mineral thing really threw me off when the first big game I played here, where I was like, oh my god, all my bases are mined out, you know, at a time that I was not prepared for that. So it does make it kind of this interesting situation where, like, do you instantly try to take a fourth? Are you know, if you try to hit like some sort of like timing and it gets slowed down, you're just going to mine out. So you really have to take it into consideration. And I got to say, map design has really come a long way in the last couple of years, I feel like. We have gotten better and better maps and more interesting situations.
Well, I think I 100% agree with you on that. I think the changes on this map are way better than, like, maybe, you know, these super weird island maps that, you know, have permanent disruption webs on part of it, and you know, everything's caged out by minerals that you got to mine, and there's a bunch of eggs somewhere. Like, that's fine and good and all, but I would prefer to have kind of these cool little nuanced additions. Like, okay, all the expansions mine out a little bit quicker, you know, or we have another interesting layout in the middle of the map. And I think you know, making good maps now in StarCraft is about making a couple adjustments and not going completely insane, which I feel like, and look, we've been doing this tournament for years and years, but in several years past, there were a couple of maps that were just so insane. I'm like, well, I don't even know how to talk about this.
Yeah.
You know, if you just took 20% of the insanity, yeah. If you just took 20% of this and put it into a map that looked normal, we might have a much more interesting game. But right now, there's too many weird features to where even I think good players are not necessarily producing the best games on them.
Yeah. Some of the maps are just so wild. Like, for instance, Monty Hall, man, I don't ever intend to play that map again. Played that map when it came out. That'll be vetoed for the rest of its life. For the rest of my life, I'll never play another game on Monty Hall. But yeah, Intercoven, Sparkle, stuff like that, just completely crazy. Now, taking a look at these builds, right, it was the gasless expansion here from JYJ. He's adding some additional factories, making his missile turrets, right? He's just kind of like crossing his T's, dotting his I's. Stork went for just a regular timed expansion into 2-gate Observer, and then 3rd Nexus and Reaver. And he's actually got an excellently placed Observer in there to see, okay, there are factory adds, so he'll probably go up to at least 6 gates here. So this is, everything is incredibly standard this game. Like, this is exactly what you would expect to see from both sides.
Yeah. A slow game like we would expect, you know, when both sides are going to be expanding and kind of powering up. It looks like at 6 o'clock there's a probe that should be ready to make a 4th Nexus pretty quickly here. Now, if he makes that 4th Nexus, it would seem like there'd be a pretty good timing attack coming here from the Terran.
Yeah, I think you have to go 6 gates before you make it. If you don't go 6 gates and you make that, you're right. Like, the timing attack just opens right up, and it feels like Stork might just die to that.
Well, JYJ's moving out now. Stork is just now getting the transfer over to that other base. The Observer is going to stalk this army that's moving across the map. It's important that the Dragoons come out and basically try to meet this. Oh, smart move by JYJ. He basically says, okay, well, if you're going to try to meet my push, I'm going to try to run one scouting SCV inside your main and see what your late game tech is. He does shut it down, but the idea here with the Reaver and the Dragoons is to force the tanks to siege. If the tanks siege up, in the middle of the map, it's way better for you than if they're sieged up right outside your base. So you want to try to generate threats without ever overcommitting, of course. And then you could hopefully slow them down. Now, the Dragoons are going to run around. Stork is maybe the best in the whole world at this when I watch. He is the master at having his Dragoons run around and cut off reinforcements and then eventually sandwiching the 2-base push.
This is... that one SCV actually made it. Stork would have met him in the middle, but the Dragoons chasing that actually allowed JYJ to get this sick position. But yeah, this runaround that he's doing right now can stop reinforcements, at least for a little bit. So that is a really good move. The double Reaver, we'll see how much this can slow the push, while his Dragoons out in the map try to make it hard to reinforce.
I mean, he's doing a great job with just this Reaver right now. He's getting these awesome shots off. The Dragoons are going to pick the tank up. I mean, the overextension there was brutal. And now Stork is in the perfect position because you can't reinforce with small units because this many Dragoons will just kill everything you've got. So this means that the other tanks that are out on the map are stuck.
I'm surprised he's fighting at the bunker. I feel like just back up a little bit, just keep slowing it down, rally out of your gates and crush this push. I got to tell you what, Stork is just putting out a beautiful game. He's up to 7 gates now. His Zealot legs should be on the way. He should be making rounds of Zealots at this point as well. He is massively outplaying JYJ right now. And he massively outplayed
kind of
mine.
Insane.
Like, this is...
Yeah.
The thing is, guys, Stork was like the best player in the world at one point. Or at least in the conversation. Like, he has been to the finals of multiple StarLeagues, did end up winning one as well. Like, he is one of the greatest players ever, and we haven't seen that in Remastered, but this, like, he is playing out of his mind right now. JYJ is a recent ASL champion, won ASL like 3 seasons ago. And Stork is just, he is playing a beautiful game here.
Oh my God, did he actually save that? He did. So, I mean, he's got the Reavers here now. They're in a spot where they can just start to hit these SCVs so hard.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I think this game could end, Tastosis.
Yes.
Oh my God, the minerals.
Dude, you know what? That's a timeline that I didn't think would ever happen, is if Stork like just is like, hey, I'm just going to win SSL real quick. You know? Like, I never thought we'd see Stork's return to form this hard, but he looks so good. Look at this. He's going to crush this push. This push has no chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just tanks on the run now. He could even go into the back and kill. That's it.
Dude.
GG. Dude, what in
Unbelievable.
the world? What? He
Just-
got out first.
yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Immaculate play. Immaculate play.
Whoa.
That's the best Protoss
Yeah,
play that we've
Artosis,
seen so far.
I want to bounce off what you were saying. Yeah, I never saw this in the timeline.
No.
I kind of got used to seeing Stork have these kind of smart but, you know, somewhat unremarkable games and runs and ASL. And obviously, if he's good enough to qualify, why would you not just come back and give it a shot, you know? But I never thought he would look like he did today. Like, he looked world class.
Yeah.
And JYJ was taken down in a pretty... I mean, you can go back and watch the game again. I mean, Stork does a great maneuver, goes right around, cuts off reinforcements to the push, did some great Reaver drops, had some great Reaver control in the fight outside of his base. And by the time it was all said and done, we never even got through mid-game there.
Dude, it was really straightforward games where Stork just understood every move he needed to make, made them all correctly, microed well, macroed well, and JYJ got slammed. Just crazy. And I mean, this, I guess you can show this part, but like, yeah, I guess that's the funny thing. There's not like a lot of flashy moments necessarily in these games to show, and they're showing this kind of thing, but like Stork was already in a very good position here, you know? Like, this Reaver drop didn't have to happen. He was still going to be ahead.
Right, yeah. I mean, this push that came out here. By the way, it's interesting to see that he always gets a third Reaver. Little subtle thing to watch for there. You know, a lot of people, they stop at 2. In this case, he has 1 here for the push, and maybe even another shuttle on the way. But having Reavers to drop and Reavers to defend is interesting. I guess if JYJ could have lasted longer, we would have seen if he would have keep making more Reavers or go for shuttles. But a lot of times people stop at 1 or 2. Anyways, we're going to go to an interview now. Let's see how Stork is feeling, man. He moved into one of the final 2 spots here for the round of 16.
KB리브 모바일과 함께하는 2024 SSL
You're watching Group F of the round of 24 of KB Live Mobile 2024 SSL Autumn as we have our first player through to the round of 16. It's Commander-in-Chief Stork himself. Congratulations. Thank
시즌
you.
12 이후에 정말 오랜만에 또 이렇게 16강에
It's been a while since season 12 when you last made the round of 16. Many people were taken aback by your performance. Let's first hear how you're feeling having advanced to the round of 16 with such a good showing.
경기력이 괜찮았나요?
My performance was okay. A lot of people were surprised.
첫 번째 그 게임에서는
Honestly, that game one,
지어가지고
I did not make my third pylon by mistake. I thought I'd already lost.
물려가지고 이겼던 것 같고.
But the builds went in my favor, so I ended up winning. In the second game, likewise, I found out that a timing attack was coming very early on, so I should be making units. I don't know what I was doing, but once again, I didn't build pylons, got supply blocked and couldn't produce. I went all in on my Reaver micro. It ended up being enough, and I won. I know there's things lacking and that I make mistakes during the games, but winning makes me feel good. It seems you were aware of some minor mistakes you made here and there as you were playing the matches, but you then made up for them with your control, with your micro. Honestly, I don't know about that. I don't know if I even played well. It feels like I just entered a trance. My performance offline hasn't been as good as when I play at home. That's just how it felt today. I was in some sort of a trance, I'm still shaking. But in the end I did win, and now in the round of 16 I'll try to fix some things and play better. Now, having played as if you were under some spell, you still seem very anxious, but during the games your judgment was so sharp at times. In the game against Mind, you were spot on when it came to predicting his tank attack timing. And then after defending on the hill, on the high ground, you chased him down at the right time. When practicing Dominator, things went so well, I would like to say I maybe didn't even lose at all. Save for Light, I beat everyone. This is not a map where this kind of pressure works well, so I prepared against it. I wanted to start playing as well in tournaments as I do at home, so I prepared builds taking everything into account. I think I won at the preparation stage. It kind of feels like those wins were handed to me. In the game against JYJ, your judgment was also something that stood out. It seems you were expecting a timing to come out of JYJ. When we talked on Discord while playing spawn matches, I said, hey, if we meet in the winner's match, why don't we play on Minstrel? But then, after we had talked, for some reason it felt to me we would end up playing on Kickback, so I prepared for that. We were on cross spawns, and with no third CC, I realized the timing had to be coming. Things nearly went alright because of that missed pylon, but thanks to my micro, I managed to stop his attack. As you were stopping JYJ's army in the center, at the same time you went for a counter-attack to stop his reinforcements and defended well. It feels the games were very clean. Speaking to you now, it seems to me you really prepared for all eventualities. Yeah, I always prepare something specific, but then get a bad spawn and have to change my build, so I've lost games to no purpose. I decided to trust myself, trust my macro. I practiced macro play a lot. The results seem to be good, and in order to gain confidence, you know, I really put in a lot of practice. Oh, before I forget, let me thank my practice partners. Sure, go ahead. Rush, Royal, Barracks, Light, Speed, and for PvP, Ruin and Motive. These 7 people, for 2 days I practiced for 2 hours with each of them. I wanted to express my thanks for their help. Your best career finish in ASL/SSL was the round of 8, but you've said that this season your form, your performance feels much better than last time. If that is the case, your fans cannot help but feel excited. I think it all starts with the group selection.
그 A조에서 김민철이 저를 뽑지 않을까 싶기도
I have a
하고.
sneaking suspicion Soki will pick me for
좀만 잘
Group A.
짜지면은 8강 이상을 노려볼 만한
I think round of
한데
8
일단
and
준비만
onwards is
잘해봐야 될
possible
것
if the
같아요.
group gets put together well. I might have to do well at the group selection. You are a seasoned veteran also when it comes to group selection ceremonies. It's another thing to look forward to. Do you have any words of thanks for your colleagues or fans to close things out?
K대 전체 다 응원이 왔는데요.
All of
이사장님
K대
포함해서까지
University came to support me,
왔는데
including the
사실
bosses.
제가 이렇게 오프 응원을 와줬을 때 승률이 0%예요.
To be honest, whenever
이긴 적이 한
people come
번도
to the
없어가지고
studio,
이거
my win rate
지면
is
어떡하지?
0%.
그나마
I have
이제
never won
영재라도
in that
K대
situation.
소속이니까 올라가면
I thought,
좋겠다 이런
what if I
생각하고
lose again? At least JYJ, who's on the same team, he'll advance. But you broke the jinx.
진짜 그
Yeah, I'm very glad to advance in first place. A lot of fans showed up too. That's right, that's a better turnout than I expected. I'm very grateful. Now, my wife came here with me today as well, and she was like, whenever I come to the studio, I come for nothing, you know, every single time. I had people come to the studio to support me, and I would always lose. So being able to break this jinx today feels really good. Thank you for coming to cheer for me. Okay, Stork is off to a good start this season, and he's happy as a clam. Looking forward to your performance. Once again, congratulations on making the round of 16. Thank you. And there you have your first player advancing on to the round of 16 today. We'll take a short break and return with the losers and elimination matches.
틀에 박힌 건 그만. 구속은 사양할게. 부담 없는 게 좋아. 통신을 내 방식대로. Live my life. Live M.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to go to the losers match. We're going to eliminate one of these two players. Another TVP for us, Tastosis.
All right, and it's actually going to be on kickback here once again. The very same, well, not exactly the same. Vito's kind of funny, free vetoed Minstrel, which is a little bit of a surprise, being a two-player map. But it does end up on kickback either way, and one of these guys going to be eliminated. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this game differs from the game we just saw. Because I feel like we're seeing Stork on the A team and then Free on the B team. It's like, this is how you do it, this is how you don't do it. Are we going to see that again?
Yeah, I mean, Stork kind of stole the show today.
Yeah.
Again, not something I saw coming. Definitely was ready and welcome for it to happen if it ever did come, but yeah, Free's still looking very rough around the edges. Mine did have a pretty bad early game versus Stork. I mean, he just had a very poor engage, let's see what happens. I think Mind should be taking this, but we got to wait and see how Free does. Let's get into this game, guys. Remember, the loser is out of the SSL. Okay, we've got Mind here in the top left. We've got Free in the top right. Really wondering if we're going to have Nexus first. Again, Stork did not elect to go for that, but I do feel like a lot of Protoss players would look at this map and be like, man, if I was going to ever Nexus first, this would be the map I'd want to do it on.
Yeah, it's basically impossible to rush. There's not really a great way to do it because, you know, if you're rushing the Nexus first, the Nexus is like down the ramp, out there by itself. You can bunker it and kill it off and have a contain up. But that's not the case here. It's like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna bunker rush like the gateway? You know, it's a very different feel. It's a lot closer to the Nexus, a lot easier for Protoss to defend. So I agree with you 100%. Like that's a frustration on this map. I think is that Nexus first is close to unstoppable.
Yeah. So I guess we just wait and see. You know, we're going to know pretty quickly here because Free will either throw his gateway down and go right into that gas tech, or we will have that quick Nexus. And it looks like with a probe already being pulled, it's going to be the gateway tech. All right.
And Mind with his depot placement is going to be going for a gasless expansion himself. So it's going to be actually like the same openers that we saw before, most likely. Oh, that's the type of wall he's going to do. That's kind of interesting. I was actually thinking a lot about this map and possibly doing this wall that Mind is doing. But if your opponent opens Dragoon, it's incredibly weak.
Oh, interesting.
And, okay, so he's because, like, this is a Zealot tight wall where your Marines pop out on the inside. Like, it's a very good wall. And all the spawns have this wall available. So that's kind of a cool thing. But, yeah, like, imagine, like, just a quick Dragoon range rush. How are you going to hold that with a depot wall? This is not even up a ramp. Like in the old days, you'd have to bring SCVs and repair and get siege mode quickly, and that would be for a wall up your ramp. But those went away completely because it's just there's no point, right? And looking at this, like if Free starts range right away and just goes for it, like I don't know. I don't like Mind's building position for that.
Here's a question for you. Would it make any sense to do like a 10-15 gate on this map? Basically a Dragoon range first build, just because... And I know we were just talking about like, oh, Nexus first. I mean, how could you not? But I guess if both players are so deep into the thought process of expanding fast, and then when you look at this map, it's basically just a big, wide entrance. Yeah, I mean, it seems like actually Dragoon range rushes would be really strong here, right?
Yes, 100%. Like, looking at what this game is looking like right now, I think you have to go siege mode as Mind. Right? Oh my god. Like,
what?
That's kind of crazy. That's a bit out there.
Wild. What?
Okay, so I think he's looking here. Like, okay, so here's my take, right? As Mind, you're going to make the command center, and then you're probably just going to have to go immediately into siege mode. He's looking to hit this right before missile turrets can hit, right? So he'll have range Dragoons come up. I don't think he'll cancel range or anything.
No, he never got range.
He canceled. Yeah, he canceled. So maybe that was air attack or something. But that did get canceled, so there's not going to be any range going on. But you don't know that for another... 40 seconds here is Mind. I don't know.
You can also just not show them the range, basically. If so. Wow. I mean, I still am not sure if this is a great move or not, because it's going to be. Sorry, where's the Templar? Okay, it's up there. It's like, oh my god, he went Citadel with no Templar.
He just wants one gate
speed. This
one
is the
gate
worst
legs.
build in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. But. The Terran is walled in, so how does the DT even punish this?
It's a great question.
Even 2 DTs, it's like you just repair it. Like, it seems like this would be good on so many other maps and not this map. Like, this would be a good strat on Dominator or something.
Yeah. Looking at this right now, now he knows that range was canceled, so he's just going to get an eBay immediately. The eBay will be like slightly late here, so he will have to repair that bunker, or that depot. Where's the eBay? Okay, he just started it, but he's starting at like 5 minutes. Against a one-base DT rush, you need to start this like 30, 40 seconds ago. So, you know, a little bit of an issue there. Maybe the DTs can get up and deal so much damage to the depot that he can break through, but he only made one.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, what
what an absolute animal. He's going to go into Stargate before Robo.
Yeah. I've seen this build and played against this build actually
eats
a lot.
off the floor, Artosis.
He definitely eats off the floor, Tastosis.
Oh my god.
He doesn't even peel his bananas, okay? He just eats them with the wrapper on. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, you just repair here. This is annoying, though. It is hurting his economy, right? And he's still going to have the fast Arbiter. Dude, what a weird game. What a weird build.
This is so weird. The Terran started his third command center before the Protoss started his third Nexus.
Is there a world in which we can go carrier here?
No.
There is a build where you go DT into carrier. I just want to throw that out there. I don't think he will, but that would be the next level. Okay.
No, because that just wouldn't. I mean.
So what?
Plain and simple. The fact is, you already have a Templar Archives tech.
Yeah.
So when you get the Stargate, then you already have what you need for arbiters.
No, of course.
Usually,
that's why the mind game can be good, though, right? Because it's so stupid.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point in time, you're dumping so much gas into so many things.
Yeah.
You know, you have a Templar Archives, and then you're going to rush into carries. That's like, all like with the 2 DTs you already made. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, any build is possible if you can get it, but it just seems like that's so punishable. This will probably be maybe 6-gate Arbiter. The problem is that Terran is already on 3 bases, so I don't really know. And again, it's not like the third base is in a spot you can attack. There's only one spot you can attack. It's where the DTs hit. This may go down as the worst build of the year. This just doesn't make sense. I mean, the DT rush to a Wallen, mind you.
Yeah.
Not a DT rush to like where his natural expansion is that you could just run in, or the third base or anything like that, into Arbiter tech where you've powered up on 2 bases by letting Terran have a third base. I don't know, Artosis. You tell me. And by the way, I want to be clear for everybody that's watching. There are some very good builds where you skip Robo. Like, we're joking around, but like actually this can be pretty scary because you get the cloak really fast.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily evident to the Terran that observers aren't there. You might not notice right away.
It's very true. And you save so much gas by skipping observer, and you get a lot of gateway units out. I'm going to go ahead and say I think Free's going to win this game. I don't have too much to base that on, other than my deep belief that Protoss can do anything they want. The thing is, this is very tricky. It's like you said, you don't actually notice there's no observer necessarily right away. As soon as you're like, oh, he's got no observer, you just lay so many fucking mines everywhere. And you're like, yeah, walk through these, bro. And like, you just watch, and the Zealots will start coming out to do that. But this Arbiter is like, it's super fast. There's no scans, right? And you got to kind of save your scans here. So it's going to be hard. Well, we hear a scan right there. So I think he was just double checking that tech. But, there are redeeming things about Free's play here. Like an Arbiter that quick. Recall can be a very good spell here. Right? Like, I don't think that this is a game where you're going to be utilizing stasis so much. I think you're going to try to hit, like, a really nice recall on one of these bases, maybe when he moves out.
I suppose if you could do a recall and then take out the turrets and the scanner, maybe, they just don't have detection. I mean, it's a very, very early Arbiter.
Well, that is a lot of factories.
Very strange game. Again, I just feel like there's a lot of stuff from Free that doesn't really make sense. The DT rush gets no value. The fast Arbiter can be good, but it seems like we're on the wrong map, and Terran can freely just take that third base. I mean, Terran's going to be in a really good spot later on. Granted, Arbiters always, are a threat and have to be respected, but I mean, Terran's been mining from that third base for minutes now.
Yeah.
And we're only just now going to have this Nexus complete over at the Protoss' third.
Well, Free is going to have to think about taking another base here as well. When you're even supply against Terran, that's not what you want. Only carriers can really fight even supply. The Arbiters are probably one of the worst things to fight even supply other than just pure gateway units. Because what is an Arbiter except gateway man with cloak, right? And maybe a stasis thrown in there. So I am a little bit nervous for Free's position currently. Because Mind's macro is starting to hit its stride. He is going to have a hell of a lot of units here in a minute.
Yeah. Mind is surpassing the Protoss here supply-wise, but yeah, this is a scary army. It's funny when you talk about Gateway Man and, like, it seems so nonsensical until you realize if the Terran doesn't understand that you've literally only made gateways and don't have anything else, that you're going to lose a lot of fights that you shouldn't end up losing because there's just so many more units.
Yeah.
By the way, you got to be careful with these mines that are laid here. Sometimes when a good Protoss player recalls, they'll recall on top of the workers line.
Yeah.
So that way, if there are mines, everything just blows up.
Yeah, I think that's a really good move if you're ahead in economy. Here, I'm not as sure. Like, if he recalled a bunch of Zealots on top of the mines, yeah, he'd kill a lot of SCVs likely. But the Zealots would be very hard for him to replace quickly, right? Like, look at his supply, man. It's only 140 against 150. Like, that's not a good position for a Protoss player.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Terran is looking this strong. A lot of games you were supposed to be about 20 supply ahead. So, like, this is... and I'm sorry, I mean, the Protoss is supposed to be 20 supply ahead. So, like, this is bad. Granted, it can come down to, like, one big fight. And maybe, maybe the science vessel's not where it needs to be. Maybe you miss a scan. Maybe the stasis is just really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
2 Arbiters, man. I mean, that's going to be, assuming he gets the energy upgrade here, he's going to have at least 3 to 4 stasis in a little bit.
Yeah, that's getting a little bit scary, right? If your tanks are a little bit clumped. Now, he gets a great scan off there. This is the type of game where if your clump of Arbiters gets hit by EMP, you're just going to lose. It's all going to come down to those. That's one of the problems with this style.
Yeah, I mean, this is why Arbiters players have tried to play without them in some ways, or they're just a smaller part of the late game and not the central part, is because if you get EMP'd, it's like, well, that's all there is to it. I just have ground units you have to scan now to kill.
Yeah, it's rare to see Protoss really split those too much when the battle begins as well. They kind of keep them on one key to get all those spells cast off. But yeah, if the EMP hits, because right now he's going to have 3 to 4 stasis. And that's a lot, man. Like, you can definitely take a very good engagement. If you get, let's say you get 3 stasis off, even if they each only have, like, 2 tanks, that's pretty awesome.
Okay, he's got to try to avoid those vessels. This is a crazy mini game that goes on at this matchup when you have these unit compositions, and he needs to make sure those Arbiters are never as close together as they are right now.
Yeah. I liked where he had the one with less energy kind of pushing forward with those Dragoons, maybe to bait out an EMP. Oh, God. Look at this Arbiter movement. He's going to go for a recall. I think he's going to do 1 recall, then another recall here.
Yeah, I think you're right. But the armies are going to move into each other right now. He's got to back up. He's got to move away. An EMP comes down just on the Zealots and the Dragoons. Still a pretty big connection. I think the problem right now for Free is he wants to do a mass recall into the base, but his army's literally moving.
Yeah, it's actually...
So I think he's going to go back here and try to take a fight.
Dude, his army looks so weak compared to mine's. It looks so weak. He has to get really good stasises off here. It's just Zealots and Dragoons. Oh, my God. Let's see how this goes. There is definitely an EMP ready here. Okay, that's an okay stasis. And he actually EMPs. There's no more EMPs. He can hit 4 stasises on this army. If he flies in and hits 4 good stasises, he can clear this. But he needs good ones.
Okay, that was... What?
He doesn't know if there's energy for it.
Yeah, no, he's basically trying to react as fast as he can. Yeah. But you need to have this hit tanks.
Yeah, you need to stasis a few tanks here. Hopefully in the back line a little bit. And look at this. Like, he's being boxed in so quickly here. Mine's army movement very, very, very strong. Here come a couple of Arbiters. Dude, Free is just not being decisive here. He needs to go.
Oh my God, the wraparound here is so good. I mean, the number of siege tank shots are going to hit. Here comes a big amount of these zealots here. Another nice freeze. I think Terran still has too much Artosis. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think he's going to be able to clear all of this. Not the best stasises. He lost one of those high energy Arbiters casting 0. You just can't have a game that looks like that. I mean, a lot of this goes back to he DT rushed a wall.
He DT rushed a wall, man.
Yeah. I don't even, like,
let it be known.
That's a wall that literally no unit in the game can get through, including a DT. So that was a bit of a failure.
Know what happened, man? This man DT rushed a wall.
He DT rushed a wall and
shout it out of your windows.
Yeah. And then he
rushed a wall.
He went Arbiter off like 1 or 2 gateways. And a late third, and it's just like,
let the Terran take a free third base. Like, I don't, it's hard to make the game any more difficult for yourself than that.
Yeah.
And I can imagine the frustration. I mean, in retrospect, the way that game panned out. Interesting opener, and definitely the wrong map to do it on.
Yeah.
Your build order is not map neutral. It should be very much tailored to the map.
Yeah.
So that it can be pulled off. In a place where you got free bases, and one entrance to block it, I mean, that's going to be walled off immediately.
The craziest thing to me is he scouted the wall. And so it's like, even if you had planned a DT rush here because you didn't think they're going to wall, if they wall, you got to look at that and say, even if he doesn't have detection, he's fine. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, if they're doing something where what you're doing will not work, maybe don't do it.
So here's where he stasised. This was clearly, you know, it's harder than it looks. Like, it's not that easy to click and be like, do you have energy? No? Okay, you know. So he's just trying to not have his own Arbiter EMP'd there, but I don't know. I almost feel like maybe the recalls would have been a better move here.
Yeah. Even recalling on the army, like, it can be an okay move at times. It's just like, look at that. He loses that Arbiter. These Arbiters are late to the party. He's already engaging, losing a ton of army. The spread here is amazing. Watch this. He's going to lose an Arbiter with no spells cast. See? Like, that was a 200 energy Arbiter. No spells cast. Then very late 2 stasis there. It was a terrible engage.
Are dead.
It was a terrible engage.
So Free is out. Mind survives. We're going to go to the final match here, and it is going to be a TVT here. Mind versus JYJ.
Ooh. Revisiting of a finals of ASL. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, that final match.
틀에 박힌 건 그만. 구속은 사양할게. 부담 없는 게 좋아. 통신을 내 방식대로. Live my life. Live M. Spirits aloft, pain starts to walk. Flying spaceships in the sky, build the base, don't ask why. Resources for us to seek, champions in the league. Circle Terran on the ground, silent strategies abound. Push and pull the cosmic string, glory in the SSL ring. SSL, we fight tonight, battles in the starry light. From the shadows to the dream, we are the SOOP StarCraft League. Micromanages every fight, macro plans in black and white. Each decision sharp and keen, pixels light up on the screen. Winners rise and losers fall, reflexes sharp, minds enthrall. Gamers play, this never ends. SSL, where legends blend. SSL, we fight tonight, battles in the starry light. From the shadows to the dream, we are the SOOP StarCraft League.
This is it, guys. This is the last game in the round of 24. After this, we've got about 2 weeks of casting off. Maybe just a little bit more than 2 weeks, but and then we're going to be back into the round of 16. So savor this moment of high-level StarCraft, because it will be gone for a little bit, but we will return.
Yeah, this has been a great round of 24. Honestly, for me so far, like, this can't surpass what we saw Stork do today. I think that's kind of the big surprise is Jaedong getting through as the only Zerg, and then Stork playing better than any other Protoss in this round. So the return of the old gods of StarCraft, just playing amazingly. Now, we're going to go into a Terran versus Terran. It's going to be on Radeon. Very likely that we see one or both of these players go for a very fast command center, like a gasless or a command center first. A really excellent map for those. And we'll see how that pairs up, because that's really going to dictate how the game's going to look.
Okay, Mind versus JYJ coming up. I'm betting you want Mind to move on. Is that right, Tastosis? I've always felt like you're a little partial to him.
I love Mind. He's definitely one of my favorite Terran players to watch. But yeah, JYJ is an amazing player here as well. Like, Mind against Stork game 1, definitely he made some mistakes there. I'd be fine with either guy going up.
All right, guys, we're going to get into this game now. In this best of one, one moves on to that last spot in the round of 16. The other is out of the SSL. Okay, guys. In the bottom left is Mind. In the bottom right is JYJ. Final plug for the Patreon, guys. Consider signing up. We love your support. We couldn't do it without you. And I don't know, man. There's something nice about just knowing StarCraft's going to be around forever. You know?
Yeah, it certainly is. And that's thanks to you guys as well. Thank you so much for checking it out. It's patreon.com/ASL English.
We've made a, we've always been trying to get better, but we've changed the editing process to be just more time efficient so we can get it out quickly. So basically, by the time this is done, it's nighttime over here. So I, get some food and go to bed, and then Tastosis sends it in, and by the morning, it's being uploaded. And so it's cool. I think Ziggy's done a great job with the translations. And really, the only thing that would ever slow us down more than that, unless for some reason it wasn't uploaded immediately, would be if we're out of town. Like I guess the previous season we were in Los Angeles for some work, but. Yeah, so I think basically every day should be coming out pretty fast. So
yeah,
the support's appreciated, guys. Lots of love, man.
Yes, indeed. Thank you much, guys. Now, taking a look at this, it does seem as if Mind might be going for like a forward barracks here. Yeah, just a forward 11 barracks, and this is a very solid play. It looks like JYJ. We can't tell yet. We'll see if he's going to get gas. Wow, they're both just going to go gas. Okay. Yeah, these guys both are not really command center first guys or gasless expand guys. Although it's a really excellent build on the map. I feel like they're not super playing the map. They're just playing their own style, which is totally fine as well. But particularly on Radeon, your high ground reaches almost to the other wall. So if someone tries to siege tank push you, they have a thin lane that's one siege tank wide that doesn't get hit by the high ground. So it's really, really hard to rush anything on this map with siege tanks.
Makes sense. I do feel like Mind also such a solid TVT player. TVT is funny. I think to the uninitiated, it looks very basic. You just see a lot of vultures a lot of times making early on, and then eventually they're into tanks, and sometimes race pop in and out. But I feel like Mind, he also makes for some very short TVTs, similar to Flash.
Yeah, I think it has to do with understanding of what can be done, because he is one of the smartest players. Whether he's one of the best players at any given moment, that's another question. But you can't question his just knowledge of the game. Like he's very. That's always. I forget. He was called What was his nickname? It was something to do with book knowledge or something. It'll come back to me, but that was literally his nickname given by the Korean commentators. Just about how smart he is when he plays.
Yeah, well, you can see it with a lot of the decisions he makes when he moves out. I think we've all known somebody who's really smart at StarCraft, but maybe not as mechanically good.
You're making me blush.
They have
Tasteless.
a lot of great ideas. Huh?
You're making me blush.
Yeah, they know it all, but it comes to the macro, or maybe their drop control's not that good. And then the opposite.
Now you're just being mean.
People that are well, then you meet people who are the opposite, right? Where they don't know any strategy, but are really good at the kind of mechanical part of the game.
Yeah.
But I felt like a lot of times when I watch Mind, I felt like the former of that, where I'm like, man, he really knows, but he's never going to be as mechanically gifted as Light or somebody like that. But I feel like in the last couple seasons, he really stepped it up. He looks like he's in very good shape.
I would definitely agree with that. He certainly has been since he did make that finals against JYJ, where he didn't end up winning, but obviously that was a sick run for him. Now we see a second factory coming up for JYJ, who's not going add-on versus a pretty fast add-on here for Mind. Now we don't know if I didn't catch if that was a tank or a vulture. I believe that's a vulture, but not 100% sure. So yeah, and he's actually going 3 add-on. This has been pretty popular lately. Is to go 3 add-on. Okay, the tank is actually very good for mine. Or 3 factory rather, and you make 4 vultures before the add-on. It's incredibly safe, incredibly safe. Nothing really kills you generally with this build.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of scouting here with the barracks. I'm sorry, did he see that factory at the bottom? He did not.
It looked like he didn't.
Grabbing my water.
I thought it got
which
in
is-
range, but there's actually, if you lose that range as the observer and try to check, you can't see if he saw the building. The technology
okay,
is
so
just
that's
not
what
there.
was confusing about that.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. Well, JYJ is going to come now, and he's going to take out this Marine that's over here. And the SCVs, I mean, they've got to be pulled. This is actually quite a bit of damage over here.
This is a disaster right now for Mind. Like, where is Mind's tank? Where is it? My God. Yeah, it was like way out there. So these vultures just kind of running around deal massive, massive damage. And look at this. They're even going to trade into this. Dude. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was... I mean, that's just a lot of workers that were killed back there.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely worth it for the 4 vultures to be eventually picked off. Yeah, I mean, just a really good position now for JYJ. Mine's going to be coming out on the map. For now, he's got some mines planted, and I don't see any mines being laid so far here for JYJ. But, yeah, I'm kind of an unexpected engagement there where you just kind of get into their base and, okay, well, we're just going to go ham then.
Yeah. You actually see their styles perfectly on display here. You know, JYJ is one of these younger, newer Terrans with the really fresh builds, wearing the coolest clothes, driving the fastest vultures. And then you got Mind over here, the Brainiac Terran, who's like, 3 factory vulture versus 3 factory vulture sucks. I'm going to open mines in a tank, right? But then, of course, the younger, hotter kid is going to get in there and kill all your SCVs. And you're like, well, fuck, now I'm playing from behind. And it's like exactly their styles. Like, it's just funny to see, right? This is, and, you know, this is why JYJ's build is a bit more popular. You can see it gives him kind of more opportunities, whereas Mine's style is playable, but you can't be making mistakes like he's already made, unfortunately.
Yeah. JYJ is now going to be in a really good spot. He's got the 2 tanks up here. He's got his vultures out on the map. How many tanks do we have right now? Mind here.
I think he has
just
2.
one, right?
No, he has another one that's further back. That should be his 3rd tank, I believe. So I believe he has 3 tanks. Just one wasn't shown on screen there. But JYJ is like, he might attack, but he could actually set up a contain here as well, which would be super, super strong. Like, he has a lot of options at the moment. And Mind looks like he wants to attack in, but he has less units, so it's not going to work. He's just going to get wrecked.
Okay, he's going to move in now. And, I mean, this is looking really rough, man. The targeting, there's just so much for JYJ.
Yeah, he has way more. He got his 3rd factory faster, and his vultures traded really efficiently with that initial attack. Mind is dead.
I think so. He's going to siege up here on his ramp, and it looks like he actually ends up going back and catching the other tank and vultures that are trying to come back. The vultures are going to dive now onto that one isolated tank, so that's going to be picked off. It seems like maybe Mind is going to, I mean, he might not be out of the game. I don't know that he can recover, but with that tank on the ramp, he did siege up and drive everything else out.
Yeah. JYJ, like, he has, look at this, he's up over 30 supply right now. He's got a huge mine contain. He's picked off tanks. He's picked off countless SCVs. From here, you can just kind of rally at your opponent and set up a bit of a contain, and it becomes so cost inefficient for someone that's already behind economically that, you know, this is the type of game where you would already left it on the ladder, but here you are, you know, trying to not be eliminated from SSL.
Yeah. He's going to move out a little bit further here. Mind has to be really careful to not overextend here because JYJ could always dive on him. Like, if he has all those tanks unsieged and tries to siege them up all at once, they can just move right in. Not that many vultures. Actually, Mind's going to send out the few vultures he has, so he's got to be really careful because, you know, vultures can moving shot. So, like, if you just have a few more vultures, you can really swarm those and just take them out.
Yeah. It's very hard to perfectly moving shot a big group of vultures, but you'll deal a lot of damage and kill quite a few on their way out there. Now, this is Mind's best opportunity. He is up in siege tanks right here. He needs to scan. He needs to break out of this position. If he can get a forward position that's somewhere near the middle of the map, then this game becomes quite playable. But he needs to do that now. If JYJ can lock down this contain and just close up the lanes of travel here for Mind, there's just, it's so hard to come back against a strong containment.
Okay, these vultures are going to come down, and once again, Mind is going to get boxed back here. This tank, you know, you don't normally think of vultures as units that can beat tanks. When they get high enough in numbers, it's like Zerglings. They can just surround stuff. The targeting has been really good. He's oscillated between hitting the vultures, and then when the tank is really exposed, he goes ahead and hits that too. Counterattack here with some vultures up at the right here, but I don't think it's very consequential. Is this command center going to be forced to? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets worse and worse here for Mind. I think that Mind probably, instead of going up that route, maybe he should have tried to break the front a little bit better. And now you can see JYJ as he sends SCVs to his third base. He's getting like exponentially stronger here than Mind. He's got his starport blinking as well. He's got that containment still up. Mind trying to utilize siege tanks here to push through his opponent's vultures, but right now it's not mostly vultures being produced. Oh, well, that was nice. That's very annoying for JYJ, but, you know, that's not something that's going to cause a comeback.
Yeah, definitely not the end of the world there. So Mind at this point, I mean, it's kind of hard to get creative and try to play around this. The contain is already set up. The third base is going to be late. In fact, it's been restarted, where you could see JYJ is just filling his expansion up with SCVs to drink in all the resources over there. I mean, I guess you could go for drop play, but that seems pretty predictable at this point in time, right?
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, he's already started Wraiths with Cloak. JYJ has, right? So it's a really good follow-up when you're in such a dominating position, because you kind of, like you said, it's kind of like obvious to go dropships here. So if you just start going Wraiths, it's like, okay, well now you have to make Goliaths, and you have to make sure you're utilizing scans, and dropships are going to be worse, and just everything JYJ is doing is pretty textbook on the current metagame and very, very strong.
Yeah, again, vultures come in here. They kill the SCV once more. How long have we been in this game where there is an attempt to just finish a third command center, and it's not happening? I mean, this is rough, man. Here comes that drop, by the way, and 2 Wraiths are ready.
Oh, it gets worse and worse. Goliath comes out, but Cloak is there as well. Oh, man. What a tough position here for Mind. He has definitely been outdone by JYJ.
It's like we were saying earlier, like, I guess you could go for drop, but isn't that also kind of predictable, right? And so the Wraiths are right there, ready to catch that. There's really only one obvious spot to drop, unless you want to go all the way around from the top to the right and then down.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Artosis.
No, it's such a disaster. You see Mind unsieging his defense. He has literally 0 defense now against a possible move-in. But he knows JYJ won't be continually scanning there. So he's just like moving his entire army around, trying to find something he can do. Can he run around the map, get into a funny position? But no, look at how far up these siege tanks come.
Oh, man. Okay, nice hits from Mind, actually. Yeah. Little victories.
Okay.
You know, with the elimination of that tank, not bad. He's going to drive this back a little bit further. He's going to try to maybe shove into this position, but this could be where he overextends. Yeah. JYJ is spiking up to 150 supply, by the way. I mean, the supply lead is massive, even though the base count looks even. I guess minus the top right base that is being taken here.
Now the Wraiths coming in. From bad to worse right now. I mean, he knew Wraiths were out, and he's made some of his own. Oh, we actually hadn't seen that before, so that's kind of a cool idea here from Mind to go like for some Goliath or some Valkyries along with Wraiths. Maybe he can win that Wraith battle. That would be a good start to coming back.
Well, the fight is happening, this dogfight with the Wraiths and the Valkyrie, and it looks like at the end he's going to be able to chase this out. But again, more losses overall. You know, it's really more important that those workers were killed off when they were mining. Another move in here. Oh my God, there's not that much defending these tanks.
Yeah, JYJ going to be able to clear this as well. It wasn't a bad idea for mine to bring that big army around, like maybe be able to set up so he can take top left. Because, like, you know, your opponent can be ahead, but if you suddenly have 4 or 5 gases, well, anything is possible at that point, right? Maybe you get a big drop-off, or you win a nice big Wraith battle or something like that, or your opponent gets sloppy trying to finish you. You know, there gets to be more and more flexibility and comeback potential later in TVT if you have a big economy. But being down 40 supply and every move he's making is being crushed.
I mean, this is just rough. So we got more scans coming down here as the map is carefully getting cut in half, with definitely more than 50% of that going to JYJ's. He's going to move in here. It looks like there's going to be some ambitions eventually, like inevitably, for mine to just go to the top left and try to expand there. And I think he can get in there. There's also the chance that JYJ will try to push into that spot. It seems almost like JYJ is kind of moving around the middle of the map, trying to see if there's a weaker spot he can maybe move into and take another bite out of the position that mine has.
Yeah, yeah. And this is actually a good way to do it. You keep like a smaller amount of tanks up front, and you keep a lot of stuff unsieged and more mobile so that you can react more quickly. This is kind of the way that modern TVT is being played right now. And so he is going to move up here. He sees this is a light spread of siege tanks, and he has enough units. He can just break through the attack move. Doesn't even have to use siege mode.
Yeah, he comes through now. He's going to wipe out the remaining tanks up here, and this is going to cut off this upper left quadrant. You know, nobody's expanded to the bottom center, by the way. I don't know if we're going to see that anytime soon now. It seems like JYJ is just trying to inhibit mine further and further. This is going to be another command center that's slowed down and delayed. It's funny, you know, quietly both these guys have had this Wraith Valkyrie arms race. It looks like we could have JYJ attack. Well, never mind. We won't have anything else because GG has been called. JYJ moving on into that final spot for the round of 16.
Just a suffocating position there. So quite well done by JYJ. You know, it's just that 4 Vulture move out really put Mind on the back foot. His tank was way out there. He just got outmaneuvered. If you open like that against 3 Factory, you either you attack instantly with a very fast tank, or you sit back very defensively, because as soon as the Vulture player gets damage on you, you're pretty screwed.
Great game. JYJ just outclassing. And by the way, this is a season where being the good TVT player could be very important. It's a very Terran-heavy tournament moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. Good point.
Oh, okay, so we are going to go to that moment that I was asking about earlier.
So he sees
these 2 facts. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Oh, doesn't see that one that was down there.
Wow. Yeah, just barely there.
Yeah.
So he actually might have thought that this was going to be like a mines opener as well. And look, this is the moment where he runs around that siege tank that's walking out. The thing is, he saw the Vultures go forward. So 4 Vultures can actually beat a Vulture in a tank. So I'm not even sure why he's moving out that far.
Even getting the Marines is pretty big.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't part of the trade or anything like that. The extra damage even on that 1 Vulture that runs away. I mean, everything was just, it was rough. There were a lot of missed shots up the ramp here. But yeah, I mean, this hurts right at the start. A lot of SCVs being killed for something that's basically not supposed to happen. You know, he does eventually lose the Vultures, but you're fine throwing those Vultures away if you're guaranteed to get kills. On workers specifically.
Well, that kept him so far back as well. No real pressure. He didn't actually get as many SCVs as I thought, but still a very good move there from JYJ. Looks like we're going to go to a quick interview with the former champion.
And that does it for Group F of the round of 24 of KB Live Mobile 2024 SSL Autumn, as we have our final round of 16 participant of the season in JYJ. Congratulations. Thank you.
아, 동료들이 너무나 기뻐해 주는데요. 오늘
You're making your
송병구
colleagues so
선수에 이어
chuffed with them having not just Stork, but you also, JYJ, delivering a good result.
돌아갈 수 있을 것 같은데요.
You have
정영재
stamped
선수
your name
개인적으로는
on the
네
round of
시즌
16
연속해서
for
16강에
4 seasons in a row now.
계십니다. 소감을 좀 먼저 들어볼까요?
How are you feeling?
일단 다행이라고는 생각하는데
I'm thinking to myself, thank God.
힘드네요.
But I'm so drained. I'm just a bundle of
아무래도
nerves.
최종전까지 거쳐서 16강에
It's not
진출하면
unusual for players to feel
많은
drained
선수들이
physically
굉장히
and
좀
mentally
기진맥
after having to go
스테이지를
through the
하고
elimination
계신 것
match to
같아요.
secure a
이명태
spot in the
선수는
round of
가볍게
16.
승리를 거뒀지만
While you had no
송병구
trouble taking the game
선수에게는
against
예선에
Free,
이어서
just like in the
24강에서 다시
qualifiers,
한번
you
좀
suffered a
패배를
defeat at the
겪으면서
hands of
머리가 좀
Stork, which
혼란스러우셨을 것
must be a
같아요.
headache.
송병구 선수의
What about
승리도
that
좀
winner's match
어떤
against
부분이
Stork feels
아쉬우셨을까요?
most disappointing?
일단 뭔가 너무 빌드 선정도 급했고
I was too rash with my build
뭔가
choice.
못
I
이길
just
것 같다는 느낌이
had this feeling at the back of my mind that I wouldn't be able to win.
그래가지고
So I think I
급했던
just
것 같아요.
rushed
그런
things.
생각이 들었다는 거 아무래도 송병구 선수가 그만큼 또
Regardless of
강해진
that, you
느낌이
must have
정영재
also
선수에게
realized
주셨나 봐요.
Stork has gotten
그것도
stronger.
보고 일단 그 맵에서 대각이 뜨면
That aside, if you get cross spawns on that map, the win probability gets
안
much
좋았던 것
lower.
같아요, 그냥 경기여서.
It just wasn't good, that
박성균
performance.
선수와의 마지막 택패전 시즌 15 결승전의
The elimination game
리매치였습니다.
against
다시 한번
mine was a
정영재 선수가
rematch
좀
from the finals of season
무서워
15,
보였는데요. 정영재
and you
선수의
once
그
again
특유의
looked
시원한
formidable.
택패전을 좀 최종전에서
We could
볼 수
see how
있었던 것
comfortable
같습니다.
you are with
초반
TVT
자체를
in
굉장히
that match.
많은
In the
스코어를
early game,
좀
you managed to
굴렸던 것 같아요.
snowball off the back of those 4 vultures.
일단 있나 없나 확인했는데 없더라고요.
I was
그래가지고
confirming if he's there or not, and he wasn't. I was like, why? I just went in.
좋았네요.
그
was
이후에도
good.
상대의 트리플을 계속 저지하면서
Afterwards,
승기를
constantly
가져갔을
denying
때
your opponent's
묻히는
third,
정영재 선수의
your
플레이가
play
또 일품이었습니다.
only got
이번
more
시즌 또
refined,
16강
like a
라인업에
fine dish,
테란
all the
선수들이
way
좀 많이
until the
포진해
end.
있는 종족이기
Now this
때문에
season,
택패전을 정말
we
좋아하는
once again
정영재
have
선수
quite a
입장에서는
handful of Terrans in the
목표를 좀
round of
상향
16
조정해도 되지
lineup.
않을까 싶은데요.
From the perspective of a TVT enjoyer like yourself, will this not be helpful in achieving your goals?
보스전보단 나았어.
I don't really like TVT, I just keep having to play it against my will. Still, it's better than TVP, is what I can say. JYJ seems especially motivated in this new season, so much so he's not even wearing a mask. You'll have to get ready for the race, starting with the group selection. What are your resolutions?
잘했던 기억이 없던 것
For
같아요.
starters, barring the season I won,
다시 한번
I don't really have any memories of me having done well, so once again I would like to challenge myself for a championship.
정영재 선수가
Now,
8강에 진출하면 굉장히
It has come to my attention, your wife said she would give you permission to purchase a very nice car if you make the round of 8.
더큰 동기부여가 정영재 선수에게 될 시즌 같아요.
Does that also motivate you in this season?
못 사고요, 일단.
A round of 8 might not be sufficient for that permission. I think I'll need to win the tournament for that. And that will be tough, so I'll just settle for a more affordable car.
동료들에게도 또 현장을 늦은 시간까지 함께
Any words of thanks for your colleagues or the fans who are here at the studio despite the late hour?
팬분들 진짜 너무 감사드리고
I would like to thank the fans who came from afar, my K-Dare University friends as well, and the boss of K-Dare, even though he lives close by,
그리고 연습 도와준
and Ruin,
현재 태경이 형 진짜
Sharp,
너무 고맙다고.
Mini, and Bisu. Thanks so much for helping me prepare. Once again, congratulations on making the round of 16 this season, JYJ. See you then.
자, 이렇게 해서 이번 시즌의 마지막
And there you
16강
have your
진출자
final
정영재
round of
선수와
16 player of the
함께했습니다.
season in JYJ.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us for the round of 24. I want to put this message out again because I know people skip around sometimes. They don't watch all the games. Hopefully, if you missed them before, you hear it now. There's no StarCraft 1 matches for 2 weeks. Round of 16 is delayed by 2 weeks. There will be the group selection, not this week, but next week. That takes a couple days to translate. So you can be on the lookout for that, and then you'll get an idea of what the round of 16 is looking like. But be patient. Don't forget about us. Come back and enjoy the show. And don't tweet at us telling us we forgot to upload it. It hasn't, the games haven't happened yet. This happens every time we have any kind of break in the season.
Yeah. So taking a look at that round of 16, half Terrans. This is the largest one-sided race distribution we've had in years now at this point. So huge Terran lineup. Definitely some big underdogs in there as well, but very, very strong players also. The Zerg line, obviously very small. That Protoss line is good, man. That is a good set of Protoss players that we have there. I feel like this is actually a pretty good season for Protoss overall. You look at the way some of these guys are playing and how many Terrans there are for them to chew on. I could see some Protoss really making it deep here.
I love our Tastosis Terran spin here now that his race is like literally half of this tournament. Yeah, I mean, there is a really good Protoss lineup. You are right about that.
You're right,
Zerg's-
Tastosis. Free played a brilliant game. That wasn't his fault that he lost that one. That was a fucking great strat.
I think a lot of these, in all seriousness, I think a lot of these Terrans will fall off in the round of 16. I think we're going to see a big decline in them. You know, the Zergs and the Protosses are looking strong. Let's keep in mind JYJ showed some very good TVTs today. It may be one of those seasons where TVT is the most important matchup to be good at if you're going to move on.
It could be. Definitely your verse Terran is going to be really important, but the group selection has a lot to do with this. I predict that we're going to see C picked up very quickly in group selection. I really think so. Maybe Jadong as well. I don't know. But yeah, this has been a great round of 24, Tasteless.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Check out the Patreon. We will see you in 2 weeks when the matches have happened. We love you. Take care. Bye-bye.